microphones on silent. Okay, so let me begin with a short story. Uh, Again, not of a person, but of a city that chose to breathe better. A few years ago, Bengaluru's public places were often filled with haze of secondhand smoke.
Cigarette butts lined in the footpaths, and no smoking signs faded in the background. But quietly, a movement began. A partnership between the police, doctors, students, and citizens who took shape.
Educating, enforcing, and inspiring the people of Bengaluru. From over thousands of new no smoking boards across the city to youth led drives that collected thousands of cigarette butts to international recognition for our smoke free efforts, Bengaluru slowly started changing. And what we are part of today is a continuation of that journey. With that, on behalf of Young Indians Bengaluru, I extend a very warm welcome to each of you for this World No Tobacco Day special session, Breathe Free Bengaluru, hosted in collaboration with the Officer of Commissioner of Police. And today, we are privileged to be joined by an esteemed panel of leaders who are shaping this mission. B. Dayanand sir, IPS Commission of Police Bengaluru, a visionary leader behind who sees public health as a vital part of the policing today. Dr. Chandragupta, IPS, Additional Commissioner, Bengaluru City Crime, whose presence reflects the city's unwavering commitment to safeguarding public health. In absence, Mr. Vikash Kumar Vikash, IPS Additional Commissioner, West Division. A lot of people here might know the small celebrity among us room, Dr. Vishal Rao, who is also the keynote speaker for today. He's head and neck surgeon of HCG, a powerful voice for change as part of Government of Karnataka's high-powered Committee on Tobacco Control. Dr. B.C. Bhagwan, Vice Chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. He's leading one of the most critical academic institutions shaping future of health leaders today. Along with them, we're also honored to welcome Dr. Riaz Basha, Registrar, Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences and Faculty of Bangalore Medical College. Dr. Pradeep Banandu, Professor and Head Epidemiology of Remands. Dr. Brinda Sitaram, Founder, Director, Center of Psycho-Oncology for Education and Research, Copper. Mr. Aditya R. Nath, Assistant Professor, St. Joseph's University. Mr. Vinay A.G., Director, Arohan Foundation. Mr. Amit Karnik, Director, Institute of Policy Research. Ms. Bujita Prasad, Chapter Chair, CII Young Indians Bengaluru. And all senior officials of Bangalore City Police. I'm sure many of us here are also heard of Anchit sir. Right? All right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir, all for being here. And of course, a big welcome to all fellow YA members and the young and spirited YA UR college students and the nodal officers, representative from our partners and all guests and participants who have joined us today, and the media. Thank you for being part of today's event. We are in for an insightful and action-driven session. So to quickly begin with, we would have opening speech from B. Dayanand sir for the today's event.
Poster release.
All right. So to quickly begin with, we'll release the poster for today's campaign.
I'll load this one. I'll load this. Okay. Publish official things. No, for you.
I would now request B. Dayanand sir, the opening speech.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ. Good morning to all of you. I won't take much time as we will allow the experts to speak rather than practical administrators or enforcers. So it's our job is only to enforce the laws, and whereas the concrete foundation for these laws come from the experts and the legislators. So we have with us Dr. Vishal Rao and so the Vice Chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi University, and also many experts from NIMANS and other institutions. Um, I would just quickly would like to tell how the journey began as far as I am concerned here. It was in 2023 when I took charge as, of course, same day, 31st May 2023. So after that, um, after a few months, maybe a couple of months, one of my batchmate son who was studying at that time in Bangalore, he met me in for a dinner, and there he was casually mentioning that, uncle, in Bangalore city it's very nice, everywhere smoking is allowed, and so unlike other cities, here it's quite liberal and quite free. So it is nice to know. So that was his remark. That made me. I got started. What is happening here? And I came back and tried to check up what is happening in the city in this regard. And incidentally, we also got in touch with Dr. Vishal Rao. ಸೊ ಅವರ ಹೆಸರಿಗೆ ತಕ್ಕ ಹಾಗೆ ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮ ವಿಶಾಲ ಮಾಹಿತಿಯಿಂದ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಶಾಲವಾದ ಜ್ಞಾನದಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಅಜ್ಞಾನದಿಂದ ಜ್ಞಾನದೊಳಗೆ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ he gave us a lot of insight into the Kotpa Act and also the harmful effects of smoking, tobacco, as well as the hookahs at that time. Hookah bars were also functioning in Bangalore city at that time. So he gave a lot of insights. It also gave a lot of insights about the legal provisions. Like if you have seen the movie, which is that old movie, The Lion King, or some movies, they're very. The lion doesn't know how strong and how huge it is. Only when it sees its reflection in the water, it realizes. So like that, he showed us what are the legal provisions, legal powers we have got to enforce the Kotpa, to enforce various other laws, and so many other laws which we did not know. Like for example, Poisons Act. Nicotine is a poisonous substance as per the Poisons Act. We did not know that. And also Juvenile Justice Act. If juveniles are allowed to smoke or allowed to drink in pubs and bars, we can invoke Juvenile Justice Act. So these are so many other dimensions of laws which came to our knowledge, and then we started cracking down in the city. First, we stopped the hookah bars. At that time, there was the notification was still not there, but then using the other provisions of law, we even uh, uh, from the point of fire norms also, there are certain provisions regarding hookahs and other things. All those things we started enforcing and got good results. Also, we closed the hookah this thing, and subsequently we also took up the other drives regarding mainly with regard to the schools and colleges, that perimeter of 100 meters or 200 meters, no tobacco products to be sold. So a lot of petty shops we had to book cases and also close many such shops in many parts of the city. And also regarding this designated smoking area in bars, pubs, and other places, which is a mandatory provision. Many of the places, or most of the bars and pubs, it was not being adhered to. And many places they claim that the entire floor or entire restaurant is smoking area. So, which we came to know that it's not legally correct, because smoking area doesn't mean that once it's a public place, everybody has access to go there. Even if everybody is smoking, what about the employees, the workers, the waiters or the bearers who serve food and other things? And in smoking area, no food is supposed to be served. So these nuances of law we started enforcing and telling the people. So now a lot of awareness has come, but last many months again we were with other things, and then in the because of this World Anti-Tobacco Day again we have joined here, and we are taking up both awareness programs as well as enforcement activities. Already last 2 3 days our officers are in the field going and checking schools and college vicinities, and if any petty shops are selling cigarettes, we are booking cases on them. In the meanwhile, law has also changed. The those who sell tobacco products, they are supposed to obtain another license from BBMP. So we are going to create awareness as well as enforce that in the coming days. And the penalty has also gone up thanks to the efforts of Dr. Vishal Rao again. From 200 rupees, it has gone up to 1,000 rupees. Plus, in bars and restaurants, if any smoking is found, not only the person who is smoking can be penalized, even the manager also can be penalized for the same amount. So all these things we are going to enforce in the coming days. And another interesting and welcome thing is the association of the young minds here, the young Indians who have come forward, and we also have our own police marshals, our Vinay and his uh, organization is working with us for the last 2 years. We have what is called as the concept of police marshals, which are students of various schools and colleges. Already we have covered nearly about how many, 48 colleges or 94 colleges, schools and colleges we have covered in the limits of 48 police stations, and nearly about 9,000 to 10,000 volunteers are there who are working as police marshals with us, and we have given them basic little bit of insight into whatever I was talking about, not only about smoking, but about mainly about drugs, which is another menace. And as the Vishal Rao puts it, Dr. Vishal Rao puts it, smoking is a gateway to drugs, so which is very apt. So therefore, we have to nip it in the bud. So we have to focus more on smoking from all aspects. Another aspect is the vaping thing, which again is banned in India, but still very prevalent today. There is a newspaper article also how prevalent, how easily it is available for those who want to use it. Even is done so, and many of the Swiggy and other these things also they are selling it. So we need to have a dialogue with them and ensure that such banned products are not available to the public so easily. And our officers will also crack down on places, godowns where such vaping equipments are either sold or stored. So these things are going to be there. We are going to enforce it in the coming days. It will be a day-to-day activity, and every day we will try to improve further. And once again, I thank all the young Indians who have joined with us today. Please carry this message. First of all, enlighten yourself with what Dr. Vishnu Rao and other experts are going to inform you, and also enlighten others within your peer group, because ultimately amongst the youngsters, especially the Gen Z.
Happens when you smoke, what happens is that nicotine releases adrenaline, so you feel more confident, you feel more brave, you feel more stronger, you feel, oh, I can handle this thing. In Hoysala past also same thing happened, or when the khaki man stood also the same adrenaline is getting secreted, so de-addiction was happening. So I was telling, not so every time I do training programs, I used to request officers, you know what, I know y'all are very busy, I don't want to put. So one of the officers in one of the districts told me we have 300 tasks in a police station per day. So I was telling, I don't want to put 301. Only thing is when your van is going, slow down a little bit near the smoke. That's it. That will be enough. He will start reducing from 4 to 2. So at least let's make a small attempt in that. And I think that has brought about this significant change. I must tell you all, from the GATS 1 to GATS 2 survey, 81 lakhs lives saved cannot be achieved by any hospital. And that is kudos to the Department of Home, Police Department, the BBMP, and the municipal departments, the health department. These three departments played a very key role, and we should applaud them. And this had no additional funding, this had no project, this had no plan. It was just commitment to drive this thing and bring this change. As on a close note, I'll tell you all, one of the first things that I remembered of Bangalore was a youth who was about 28 years old, whom I remembered treating in my hospital, who was in his last stage. He was sent to me from Tata Hospital because they wanted him to spend his last days in Bangalore, which is his hometown. So my colleague from Tata said, Vishal, we've tried surgery, we've tried chemo, we've tried radio, entire neck is open. There is nothing left here. He has a stomach tube through which he's feeding. He has a catheter through which he's passing urine. He's bedridden. And the last 2 days was the most memorable one for me because every night, the main blood vessel that connects the heart to the brain, it's called the carotid artery. It is the direct connect from the heart to the brain. It controls one. It's like a one pipe highway. The tumor was sitting on it and it would punch a hole. Whenever it punches a hole, the blood would, so if he was lying down here on this table, it would touch the ceiling, the blood. So the ceiling had blood, the floor had blood, and I was only called to hold that area and stitch. That was what I did for 2 days, 3 times, sometimes 2 times in a day. And I prepared the family to tell that he's not going to be able to make it. So there were prayers going on in one corner for him. Young fellow, 28 years old. And, he wrote a note to me saying, sir, I think I am dying because I quit tobacco. So I found it very strange. Why did you write this? So I asked him, I said, what made you write this? He wrote a note to me saying, before this, actually, when I was in Mumbai, I got engaged. After my engagement, my fiance asked me to go for a full dental checkup because his teeth were stained with nicotine. So I went for that health checkup. There I found that there was a small ulcer. I got that ulcer biopsy. I went for the testing, and after that, got to know it's cancer. And I got to know it's stage 3 by the time it was advanced. Because he was constantly chewing and smoking, both. This man that day died. That day, when he died, I remember the pool was full of blood at the floor. The ceiling had stains of blood. And I was there holding my finger, and then I had to cover the bed sheet and to tell that he has to bleed to death. There's no other way. We can't stop it anymore. It's opening up in multiple fronts. But that scene reminds me of a very important thing to say, that nobody sees this. Everybody sitting in that shop who's smoking and enjoying with the group of friends is not thinking that he's going to reach here. The photo on the packet is real. I keep telling people it is not going to happen today. But the problem is, if you say today to somebody to hold an electric wire, he will not hold. Why? Because you'll get an instant shock. Whereas in tobacco, it comes after 5 years, 10 years. So people say it's not going to happen to me. It will happen to somebody at some point, and that's for truth. At some organ, at some level, because 6,000 chemicals, 60 carcinogens will affect in some or the other way. So this particular instance reminded me that painful event that young fellow went through. And again, I'm telling the youth Indians, Arwan, please, hearty congratulations to all, because if you are able to save a few of these youngsters from drugs, from tobacco, I think this is a very powerful change we're bringing in the society to actually. And this, remember, this is a thankless job. Like the police department is doing a great thankless job. Nobody will ever know and praise them for this. The great officers who are on ground, constables, officers, when they tell me stories of little things that made a small change, I feel very proud. I know this will not come out in the headlines in the media, but yet it will make a profound change in the way we look at the whole scenario. So I think I just wanted to tell each one of you all, yes, coolness is there, the thing is there. How do we denormalize tobacco? And that's the job we will all have, denormalize it. Whether it's through awareness, whether it's through enforcement. The last consistent 15 years, what have I been doing? Just being present around to do that little change. So 15 years ago, first I remember last few days when I was traveling, Chandragupta sir, he told me, we shall get the gazette, get the plan. We ran around because this particular thing of, I know for the last 15 years which files have been there, which orders have been passed, because I'm just following up each one of them, from rural development to legal metrology to this. And Karnataka has been an example for the world, not for India. And I think the the police martial initiative is a beautiful example for the world. I'm not even saying for the country. This is going to go with big messages across the world on how we can join hands to make a difference. So on this note, I must share with you. I was once, when I was in Tata Hospital, I was in one of the dinner parties, which my friend had hosted. He was a medical doctor, sir. He had become a Bollywood director. He had moved his profession. So he told me, Vishal, I'm calling you here, but I will not refer to you as doctor because very boring to call in this group and all doctor, because DJ has more respect than DR. He said. So I said, very good. I said, so he called me as Vishal. He said, and I was moving around. So I met with people, interacted. There was a very famous music director whom I met. So he started interacting with me. And the interesting part I understood about Bollywood was they are not interested to know who you are. They want to tell about who they are. So I was listening to him, very patiently listening to this man, and he went on talking about his music, about his work, and about his achievements and all. And I kept listening to him, and then he took his cigarette and took two puffs, blew it on my face, and I really got annoyed. I didn't know how to respond, but nonetheless I kept quiet. He realized that I'm uncomfortable, so he gave the cigarette in my hand and said, "Sir, ek dam le lo." He said, "Maja aa jayega." So I said, "No, sir, I don't consume all this." So he said, "No, you live only once." So he says, "You have to enjoy this." So I said, "Sir, no, sir." I said, "I'm a boring guy. I don't use this." So he gave me a gyan on this for about 5 minutes, talking about why you live once and why you should enjoy everything. So I agreed. I listened to him everything, and after that, towards the end, I said, "It was such a pleasure meeting you, sir." And I gave my visiting card. I said, "Anytime you need me, think of me." So then there was silence for 30 seconds. He just kept looking at it, and then he kept it inside his pocket. His head was low. Then he said, "आप पहले बताना चाहिए था." I said, "Sir, क्या जरूरत है?" I said, "आपने पूरा बोल दिया सब कुछ. सब आपने ज्ञान तो बांट लिया." I said, "Why should I now again tell you the story?" So he was very upset with me. He said, "I have family, I have children." I never said anything. I said, "You are the one who have been talking." I said. So 6 months later, this man had a swelling in the neck. 6 months later. And he came again to Tata, stood in that line, got a biopsy done. Luckily, it was tuberculosis. So I asked him, "How many people are there with you for the party today?" I asked. He said, "Nobody." I said, "This is the truth." But I said, "Tata billing counter is there. Now go there." I said, "Pay." I said, oftentimes near the ICU, no relative is there. It is only billing counter fellows coming around. All others have disappeared. This is the truth of the actual problem of tobacco. And so I think I'll end by saying that yes, it's a complex problem, but like Karnataka has achieved a goal of GATS, I'm just giving that example again to say it is a collective effort of every department that came forward. It's a collective effort of hundreds of officers who are never going to see the limelight to say that they actually played the role. And I again want to thank Police Commissioner for taking such a beautiful lead initiative, which is inspiring for all of us. He has again initiated the thing of asking the constables to be notified as enforcing officers. He led the hookah ban, and the hookah ban is a separate. I think, sir, you should get a movie done on it. I think that it's worth a movie. The amount of events that happened on hookah were historical. From the High Court case stay to the enforcement drives was historical. I remember telling our health minister, and that day when we went after your suggestion, we went to the health minister. He said, "ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ಬ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ?" I said, "ಸರ್, ಅದು ಇನ್ನೂ ನಡೀತಾ ಉಂಟು ಸರ್, ಅದು ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 2 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ನಡೀತಾ ಉಂಟು." "ಆಯ್ತು, ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕರೆದು ಇವತ್ತು ಬ್ಯಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಡೋಣ." I said, "ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅಷ್ಟು ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ." He was very excited. He was very positive, very optimistic. So I was telling somewhere that day that behind the scenes, health minister played such a good role of fast tracking the effort and believing in us, in the social cause. And I want to place these records to actually acknowledge his efforts to actually bring the court amendment bill, bring the hookah ban. And lastly, I'll stop with a joke, and I'll tell you. See, tobacco is always a complicated subject. CIA is now going to ask some tough questions. Avoid me in this. The commissioner is there, additional commissioner is there, and our VC is there. But oftentimes, sir, they ask us, "Hey, why don't you ban tobacco fully?" And this is the favorite question everybody says. So activists especially love this. Any activist on there in the background will stand up and shout, saying, "All this is useless. Come on, let's just completely ban tobacco." So when somebody asked me on one of the programs, I said, "Sir, I don't have an answer, but I can share a joke." I said. So he said, "Okay." I said, "Sir, there is a series called Yes Minister. In that, what happened was the Prime Minister was sitting. This is a London, UK series in which the Prime Minister is sitting and the Health Minister comes to him and says, 'Look, there is this big menace of tobacco going on and it's killing hundreds and thousands of people every year. We need to ban it.' So he said, 'Yes, I fully agree with you. It's in fact horrendous. He said, sir, young people dying, lot of these people, deaths, suffering, miseries, expenditure to health departments, NHS is bleeding. So he listens to all of this and says, calls the secretary and says, come on, let's ban tobacco. Little later, the commerce minister comes in. And the commerce minister says, sir, you have no idea what good tobacco is doing to us. Number of revenues we are getting from it. And also, people are dying younger. Otherwise, we have to take care of old people. You see, and sponsorship for sports, sponsorship for all of this, political party sponsorships, elections. So he said, just look at the good things tobacco is doing. So then he remains silent. And then he asks his secretary in a dilemma now, what to do. He says, both sides are correct. They have their points of view in this. So the secretary says, sir, it's a very complicated problem. The only solution we can change their portfolio, he says. So the health minister now becomes the commerce minister becomes the health minister. And they repeat the same scene with the same conversation. So tobacco is a complex subject. I'm not saying that overnight you can solve this. Yes, but with consistent effort, with consumer awareness, with people learning about it. And I'm saying the demand side is equally responsible for supply. So let's work on the demand while the governments work on supply. And I hope that CII team Young Indians ask us simple questions on this. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vishal Rao. I think I hope each one of us have had some story to take away, especially the college folks here. I think we have a lot of messaging, a lot of stories that we can go and share with the other students around, right? Great. So now I would request Dr. BC Bhagwan sir to just have a special address on today's topic.
Good morning, everybody. Dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, all the experts in this field of addiction and tobacco consumption, and young Indians, and all the students and activists who are here. It's a privilege for Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences to be associated with such a drive. Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, probably some of you may not be aware, it's one of the biggest universities in the globe, having 1,400 odd educational institutions, health related educational institutions under its belt, spread all over the states. It's a state university. And I'm very sorry to tell you that if you go through the surveys and the incidences of almost about 15 to 20% of the healthcare workers, they use tobacco in their daily life. As Dr. Vishal Rao rightly put it, giving excuses of stress, overwork, all the sleeplessness, all those reasons. And as we find that in our own health campuses, in the universities and the educational institutions, there are a lot of youngsters above 18 years who get recruited or joined these courses, have started using it, maybe because of peer pressure or the pressure that they face and the other attractions that they have in the groups. As Dr. Vishal Rao was mentioning, we tend to follow the Western culture many times, and they develop this passion. Otherwise, they're not there in the group. So they realize it only later when the tobacco starts affecting them. One of the other things probably we should understand that this nicotine addiction is also genetically transmitted. About they have affinity of about 40% or so, ma'am, and our psychologist is here, genetically transmitted. So we need to educate some of the youngsters and the families. If the parents and grandparents have addiction to alcohol and tobacco, we should also educate them that there could be possibility of having this affinity of tobacco consumption. So I would like to cut it short because a lot of speakers are there to speak on this. From Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, of course, we have implemented so many programs as regulated by the uh, authorities. We would like to do the institutional activities as part of this no tobacco day, and we would like to initiate our students to get into debates, the walkathon things, the community outreach programs, all that we are planning in the next 1 month or so, and we would get the feedback from all the institutions. We would also like to take some initiative in making institutions display prominently no smoking boards, and in the area campuses, make it smoke-free zones. And as regulations say that 100 meters from the campuses, we shouldn't have any tobacco selling units or stores. That we need to make sure from all the sites, and also uh, report all observed and violations of COTPA Act to local authorities, collaborate with student police marshal programs in every educational institutions. We would like to do that, and operationalization of tobacco cessation centers with the proper counseling and reporting to the higher centers and get them the proper services done to cease the tobacco use. Um, Integrate this TCC, tobacco cessation centers, functions into curricular, co-curricular, and also into outreach programs. So student marshalling and involvement of students associations and also parents associations in implementing these programs will be very important for us. We would like to do that in the days to come, weeks to come, and tell the teachers and the institutions to give us a feedback. So our shared responsibility as a moral, academic, and regulatory obligations to this. We are going to take lead along with the police department and Department of Health, Family Welfare, and youth organizations. We will be very proactive in the days to come regarding this. Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, for all your information, is coordinating a program called Yuva Shuddhi Abhiyana on June 5th at Palace Grounds. It's a huge congregation of students and the healthcare workers, and we would like to collaborate with the Narcotic Bureau, Anti-Narcotic Bureau of Karnataka, and Health Ministry, and representatives will be there from the government side, and our Honorable Excellency Thawarjan Gelot ji be there. He will be there on that day, and he is coordinating this program. And we would like to take up this drug abuse and tobacco cessation very effectively from Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences. So thank you very much for giving me this platform to share my thoughts and also to get connected to all of you. Thank you very much. I thank our registrar Riaz Basha, Pradeep, and all the organizers, Dr. Vishal Rao, who has been very, very proactive in this. And Vishal is giving us better platform to actually get involved. It's not just about publicity. Rajiv Gandhi University won't be interested in publicity, but we will be interested in proactively getting involved in such programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bhagwan sir. I think it's nice to hear that there's already a plan in terms of how they are going about with the whole no tobacco mission. Now, I would quickly request Mr. Aditya Nath to quickly give a small speech about today's from a psychological angle.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. It is a privilege to share the dais with such distinguished people. Good morning, everyone. I will be trying to approach this issue from psychological perspective. I also teach students in St. Joseph's University. That is my main sort of profession. Maybe we'll take it up like this, because to keep it short, I'll first we'll explore this particular tobacco products. Then we'll try to understand the adolescent or people of the age group of the students present here, and then we'll combine it and see what comes out of it. So, when it comes to tobacco products, broadly there are three categories. The first category is your conventional cigarettes that you get, where you have to, since most of you don't know, put fire on the other end and then it's that's the conventional cigarette. And then you have heated tobacco. So it works by not burning the cigarette, but it heats the tobacco, and then that's supposed to. The idea was that when you burn a cigarette, it leads to tar, and then you see during your movies in the theaters, they show the lungs which has black tar, right? That was the issue with the conventional cigarettes. So of course, to counter that, they came up with these heated tobacco. Then you have something called as vapes. They are also called as e-cigarettes, also called as e-cigs, right? I have a friend called Lokesh. We call him Loki, right? So like e-cigs, or you also call it as ENDS. The more academic way of calling it is ENDS. So that's like uh, ENDS, meaning like electronic nicotine delivery system. It delivers nicotine electronically, right? So that is vape. It's called vape. It's a cool way of calling vaporizer, right? Vaporizer. You heat the water, it becomes water vapor, right? So that is a vaporizer system. They work a little differently. So it goes like this: when you started with conventional cigarettes, no tobacco, World No Tobacco Day came, and people like that, and there was cracking down on it. And then people were like, okay, your problem is smoke, no? Okay, we'll do one thing. We'll remove the tar from it. Now it is safe. But the funny thing is, the heated tobacco also generates some amount of smoke. So it did not solve the problem. But when it was being marketed, they said it is solving the problem of. So your lungs will not have tar. Everything else will be there, but tar won't be there. Right? That was the issue with that. Then the vapes came. It was called as e-cigarettes. The whole idea with which it was marketed was that it doesn't smoke. It is a safe alternative to cigarettes. Right? You want to get out of cigarettes? Here, try vape. It was like that. That is the whole idea it was pushed with. Like, you're trying to get out of cigarettes, you use vape. So this idea was bought by the people. They're like, yeah, I'm trying to get out of cigarettes. I will try vape, electronic cigarettes, e-cigs, right? Just like my friend Loki, e-cigs are there to help you. This was the idea that it came out with. But then something changed. They started bringing in flavors, tobacco flavor, blueberry mist, chocolate flavor, right? All of these flavors. Anything else you can think of? Tell some fruits. Watermelon, yes. Peach flavor, lemon flavor, yeah. Now they are like, some of them are thinking, in a room with policemen, by answering, will I be in prison? No. Awareness is good. Okay? They will not put you in jail for awareness. Am I right, sir? I am not. I mean, knowledge of law is whatever a professor of psychology can have. So, my understanding is awareness will not put you in trouble, unless, of course. Anyway, let's not get into the gray areas. So that was ENDS, or the e-cigarettes, right? So they marketed like this. So people bought it for that reason. People bought it thinking that, okay, I'll quit smoking. But there is a problem. The problem is this: flavors. You know how many flavors are there? Take a guess. Number, students, come on, take a guess. Huh? 100 plus. Wow. Okay, anything else? 20. Oh, is your aim a little higher, madam? Huh? More than 17,000 flavors are existing. Yes, across the world, there are more than 17,000 flavors existing in vape, right? 17,000 flavors. Blueberry mist, blackberry mist, I don't know, whatever, the apple, plum, So it's catering to a lot of choices are there, right? You can go into the market and, guess what? It doesn't stop there for vape. You have different Bluetooth connected vape. Bluetooth. I don't know. Maybe you like to listen to music, and I don't know, right? So Bluetooth enabled, and then there are challenges. Some systems I've heard have rewards, right? Like the vape challenge. All of these things, they are using principles of psychology and consumer psychology. You have variety. You get rewards. You like to do things when rewards, right? The penal system works by punishments, right? That is good, it works, but people will try to evade punishment in most cases. Yeah, it's called classical conditioning in psychology. The whole dog and the bell experiment, you can read up on it, right? So people will try to evade punishment. They are working at a stronger principle called conditioning, which leads to dependence, which leads to addiction. So by rewarding the behavior again and again and again, it becomes conditioned. Conditioning is worse than addiction. Condition meaning, how many of you brush your teeth today morning? Why are you thinking, huh? So you learn to do it for a period of time. You're conditioned. You wake up in the morning. I mean, most healthy parents would have. Anyway, that's again a gray area. I will not go into that. Yeah? So then you would brush your teeth automatically. So this, if imagine if your smoking behavior or vaping behavior is connected this way. Now you see the problem. It becomes very difficult to remove. This is called conditioning. Many of the addiction industries are doing this, right? So this is the first concern. So first, people are buying it to quit smoking, but they don't end up quitting smoking in most cases. Some countries have put strong regulations, meaning that they have banned it completely, like India. Were you aware that it is banned in India? I asked some of you were, some of you are not. I asked some of my friends, like, it is banned, huh? Really? I'm like, yeah, it is banned. How are you? 2019, it was banned. September. It was again a white paper which came out of ICMR. Then they banned it because of all the dangers that it posed. The first thing was this: you're guilty when you know that it causes harm to your health, right? So then there are new chips, protein chips. What protein chips? There is no protein, so you feel less guilty. This is a marketing strategy, right? So they put vape saying that it has no nicotine in it. It is true. Okay, some of the most vapes have nicotine. Some vapes don't have nicotine. They have other carcinogenic or cancer-causing substances. They have heavy metals. They have all of these something called diacetyl. It causes again lung infection, lung cancer. So they removed nicotine, which is of course addictive, but they added other things, no? Which I mean, they only removed nicotine. Everything else is still there. So that's also problematic with vape. Mostly we see vapes are a little more expensive than cigarettes. So what is observed is generally people with higher education and income are generally the ones who are doing this. This is a study conducted on Mumbai and Kolkata. We can, to some extent, 2023, this study was conducted. To some extent, we can extend it to Bangalore also. For this speech, I asked my students because I'm a professor, and as you can see, that some of the qualities like having a beard and looking old is lacking in me. So I tend to get a little closer with the students, and I asked them, "Hey, tell me about vape." I read this research already. Much research is not done in Bangalore. So he said there are certain. Have you heard of this species called TikTokers? TikTokers, yeah. So there are people in TikTok and Instagram. They do these, like they make a circle with the vape smoke, and they do all these fancy stuff. That is one of the reasons why people are apparently going for it, and also people are curious about it, right? So all of these things were there in related to vape, and lot of marketing strategies like this, right? And like sir has said correctly, Vishal sir has said correctly, they are targeting young population. Young population above adolescence, 13, and it goes up till 25, 30 years also. Sometimes they are able to hit this their population. So now we have to understand the young population, the adolescents. Most of you are adolescents. Others are adolescents at heart, right? We are all young at heart. Others are really adolescents, not at heart. Age is just a number, right? Sir? No? So anyway, let's get to this. Adolescence. Remember, adolescence, A, B, C. Acceptance, belongingness, connection. We look for this adolescence. Yeah. Why? See, our brain, when it develops in a very interesting fashion. It develops from the bottom to the top. Okay, from here to top. Medulla develops from bottom to the top. So what happens in the bottom section of the brain? You have the functions important for life: breathing, heart rate. Is anybody? Have you ever stopped your heart rate? Except when you saw a very good-looking person. Heart skip the beat. No, that's not what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about heart rate. These are all automatic functions. So on the top here, this is called the prefrontal cortex. For simplicity's sake, I will call the logical brain. Your logical decisions are made here. Prefrontal cortex. Yeah, wear a helmet. Yeah, okay, please. Extra message along with the others. Yeah. So the bottom parts consist of emotional centers of the brain. It's called limbic structures for the nerds here. I'm also a nerd. And amygdala. So these are the emotional structures. For the adolescents, teenagers, this part is very strong. But the logical part of the brain is not very strong. You're still developing at least till the age of 25. So what happens is, It is normal for you to have concerns with emotional regulation, to regulate your emotions. Sometimes when you're sad, you're very sad. When you're angry, you're very angry. When you're happy, you are elated. That's because a part of your brain, we'll call it the reward system, is a little extra active. That fellow is always active, but he's a little extra active in adolescence. For children, yeah, it's active. But then well, there are older adults, but for the middle people, that is the adolescents, they are extra active. So, because emotional regulation is also, they're still learning, all of you are still learning, that puts them at risk for high risk behaviors. Road accidents, mostly among young people, high risk behavior. Peer relations are very important. Acceptance, right? ABC, I told you. Acceptance and belonging in the peer relationship. Easy to create a vape culture. What is a vape culture? You don't want to be the odd one out, not vaping, as Sir said, not looking cool. And they take it like really personally, because that is a part of yours. And I say they is adolescents. You're forming your identity. You're getting to know who you are, what you like, what you don't like, who you want to hang out with, what you would like to be. In different aspects, you're creating your identity. So then what happens when your peer, who your identity is connected to, is pushing you away? You will want to be a part of that. You're seeking acceptance, you're seeking belongingness, and you want connection. So then you will do the same behaviors which they are doing. You see them doing it, you see them, they are getting rewarded, you observe it, and then you want to do it too. You got the idea? First of all, brain is not able to regulate emotions. And when you're feeling the shortcut, I mean, you can come to a therapist if you like, but the shortcut is you use substances. You can use vape, you use cigarettes, because that is what you would have observed other people doing. Which brings me to the point of significant people in your life. Parents, if they have a smoking habit or vaping habit, that puts you at risk. If you have had child abuse, child sexual abuse, any sort of trauma, that puts you at risk because it messes with your emotional regulation. It puts you at risk for using these substances. Right? Then learned behavior, as I've told you. Then by observing other people, you might try to, indulge in this. And finally, there is a quote, a proverb that says, "The child who is not loved by the village will burn down the village to feel its warmth." Get it? It will burn down the village to feel it. We need a community-based intervention for this, not only involving the police or the teachers, but involving all of you, because I can get more inside information from my students than what my research papers are telling me is what I understood from the research that I've studied. Because he's telling me stuff which were not there in the research, some 2 or 3 points. So you involve the youth in it, let them help you figure out where they are selling these vapes, because you can't sell these vapes, right? So you can use them to find the places. You can use them to spread awareness, change it from a vape culture to more meaningful connection-based culture, right? So I think I've exceeded my time a little bit, but I'm a professor, it's allowed, right? Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Aditya. Now, one of the key moment of today, we would like to invite the dignitary to the launch of the cash campaign today. So we'll be launching the Kikash website today. Uh, Vishal sir? Vishal sir, request you to just have a brief explanation about the Kikash campaign, right?
So this was actually initiated, the Kikash campaign was initiated with the thought of offering solutions to de-addictions. We all know today the WHO has, if you look at the Empower strategy, which is offering help, is the one which is least effective. That means if you look at the world data, if you offer de-addiction to 100 people, only 6 people are compliant at the end of 1 year. 6 people. 6% is the compliance rate. So there have been many studies across the world trying to find out how to improve this compliance rate. So this campaign was initiated with the support of the state anti-tobacco cell and with other NGOs and some of the with the Indian Institute of Science partners, to initiate and see how we can offer de-addiction, a lot of it online, using collaborations with techniques like Alan Care and others, which actually allow you to use your tobacco while you're quitting. And these are short programs that they've learned, which could actually be helpful. So again, one of the reasons is most of these people don't reach hospitals, and that's why we've initiated this effort to start the de-addiction programs online with the help of these groups, to offer help and help people quit in hours, not days, not days and years. But we want to improve the compliance rate. So Alan Care is one such famous program where Hrithik Roshan, Al Pacino, many others had actually used these techniques to actually quit their habits. So it's a smaller program. It's about allowing you to smoke while you quit. So it's not about pressurizing you, not about telling you. So it's a new initiative that we've started, and hopefully in the coming years we should be able to show some effort, because as Commissioner Sir said, while we are enforcing the act, while we are actually doing all this awareness, bringing down the consumption, people will need help to quit. So we have our psychologist who spoke over here, we have Dr. Brinda. All of their efforts has been to ensure that de-addiction is a part of the program to help people quit. So these are portals that will help you show which are the de-addiction centers across the country. We are collaborating with Rajiv Gandhi University to show which are the centers, 1,400 odd institutions. How can you reach out to them to seek help for de-addictions, as well as use simpler techniques which are available online, including gaming and behavior change, to actually modify and quit behavior. This is just as a part of the responsibility to say we are not here only to enforce, we are also here to offer help and help people come out of the habit. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishal sir. So up next, we will have a panel discussion basically to understand how a city like Bangalore can come together across sectors to combat the tobacco use. I would now request Ms. Pujita Prasad, Chair, Young Indians Bengaluru, to moderate this session.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you to the dignitary sitting here for giving us an opportunity to support you in this cause as well. So we've heard a lot from Dr. Vishal Rao, Sir Dayanand Sir, but we would like to hear from a few other distinguished guests who we have here. Ma'am, Dr. Brinda, we would like to understand. So smoking is an emotion for most of them. So I've seen our friends; they just give one look to each other, and they understand that it is time to smoke, and they just step outside the room, right? Um, while they all know that it is harmful, how do we ensure that? What have you seen in your experience? How do we ensure that this kind of a behavior is addressed? That would be something we would like to know from you, ma'am.
Thank you, and a very tricky question, I must say. Tricky because I think all the dignitaries did talk about, and Vishal, I think, extensively enumerated the fact that it's a very, very complex issue. It's a whole series of things that happen, right from social conditioning onwards to, the way the brain starts to kind of, pick up these signals of smoke and so on, and then how it becomes an addictive kind of a behavior. And when we talk about behavior, obviously, when we are in the company of, people who engage in a very similar kind of habits, then it becomes so much easier because it's just a cue, right? I mean, even while we are sitting here, if you want me to ask a particular question, I will signal it out to you. So I have already primed you to question me in a particular way. I didn't now, but I'm saying. So therefore, when people engaging in a very similar kind of habits or lifestyle behavior, as we call, it's a behavior. So there are nonverbal cues, sent across. So which we call technically as triggers. There are various triggers that really motivates or initiates these habits. For example, even when we're doing the cessation, service, in the hospital, and of course we come from the oncology space where already, people have kind of become a victim of whatever habits they are in. And very often they will enumerate to tell us that how they really got exposed to this whole thing and what are the triggers that really help them to kind of, get into this behavior. And I think, my fellow colleague was just talking about how it's a conditioned behavior. Then it's a conditioning. It's no longer an addiction. The addiction is at the other end of the continuum, but the start or the initiation is the conditioning. And so therefore, even when they see this in homes, when parents are engaging in it, I think what happens is the child starts to kind of get exposed to it, not only by, sometimes parents say that we hide and do it, but the truth of the matter is the smoke is everywhere. Not even secondary smoking, even third hand smoking, where the furniture, the clothing, everything absorbs the smoke, and it lasts for several hours. So it starts to emit these chemicals, which obviously start to trigger the brain. The dopamine high that we all get from doing so many things is also very well known with nicotine. While we talk so extensively about these habits, such as only smoking, we seldom really pay attention to non-smoking tobacco. Chewing is, rampant. While we say pan, supari, whatever we talk about is again a trigger. And I've seen patients also do that. They just, start fiddling with their pockets, which is an indication that it's time for me to start picking up that packet and, engage in it. So to answer your question in a very short way, it's a cue, and a cue is technically a trigger. A trigger is where the body starts to anticipate. The mind now is giving this trigger to the body to anticipate the cessation of whatever habits, and that could be, we're talking in the context of smoke. So the body now starts to get ready to pick up that smoke. So it's like, conditioning behavior. And the Pavlovian school in psychology will tell you that when our lunchtime comes, we start to anticipate food, right? And when we see something very interesting, the saliva already starts to kind of accumulate in the mouth because it is anticipating a desirable uh, dish. Like this, for the smoker, it's an anticipation of a desirable, satiation that is going to come. So therefore, peers, when they engage in it, actually through these cues, I could have just had a smoke, but somebody doing it now starts to trigger a desire. So that is how it becomes an addictive habit forming kind of a thing. So when we are engaging in cessation, it is not technically just preaching or giving them health awareness or doing these, conditioning, other kind of things. There are these lot of non-verbal things that we also have to engage in to break this habit.
Thank you for that,
Yeah,
ma'am. Thank you. Sir, for Dr. Riaz, so we know that we have a lot of students with us, and how do you think we, as students of youth of the nation, could support you in this journey? And if you have any opportunities for student volunteering in your institute as well, sir.
Thank you very much. I think Honorable Vice Chancellor has spoken on behalf of the university. He has already told that we are one of the largest universities. We are having around 3.5 lakh students who are doing various health science courses, starting from medical to allied health sciences. And many of the earlier speakers, Dr. Vishal and everybody has told that the smoking interest starts with, as Madam has rightly told, about peer pressure, hero worship. Most of us are... Nowadays, the trend of movies going on, people earlier days used to like the hero as a good hero. But nowadays, we are seeing Pushpa, KGF. All these things are becoming role models where the hero is coming and just going on putting the smoking. And the child also believes that everybody, even my small son, used to do this step of Tagge Dile. So this is the type of behavior which the students are following, and which the hero worship is coming and the smoking is coming. So small line is there at the bottom saying that smoking is injurious to health, which nobody tries to look at it. Of course, there are legal enforcement, as sir has already pointed out, and applauding the work of the police department under the leadership of the commissioner sir and other officers. But apart from enforcement, when we want to do health promotion, basically it is about health education, awareness, and how do we do it. With Dr. Vishal, we also had a small workshop among religious leaders, where many of the religious leaders said, even in scriptures, it is told that some of the substances which are addictive should be banned. It is there in all religions, but unfortunately, we try to pick up only what is not required in the religion and what is cultural, what is not appropriate. One of the preachers told us, this donkey, all of us are aware of the donkey, right? We think it is a stupid animal which just does all the work. If you allow it to wander, it goes everywhere, but it doesn't wander into the tobacco fields. So it doesn't go into the tobacco field. So the donkey is aware that tobacco is something which should not be done. And we, being humans, much more superior to this animal, should be much more aware about what are the harmful effects of these tobacco and try to get along with it. So the student community is very important, And under the chairmanship of sir, we have an NSS volunteers and other things under the RGHS group, and he has brought up this Yuva Sanghas, and we are also trying to work with NIMANS to bring up that life improvement strategies. And sir also has brought up this Gen Z, what we call now. They are all about live and enjoy. That concept, live, work, and other things is gone. Today he is here, tomorrow he is in Himalayas. So that floating period of thoughts is there where you need to come back. And parents also are becoming overprotective for the children, not allowing the children to function independently, which is leading to a lot of addictions, which is not getting into them. And technology is easier. Everybody is addicted to the internet. A 4-year-old is much better at using iPads rather than the older generation. So these are the things which the students are more aware of it. So if the student community becomes more aware within themselves, self-realization is there, then automatically a larger goal on the community involvement and community projects and making a healthier society will go in a longer way. So we, being the health university, we are really focusing to reach to the last man standing apart from our regular academics and examinations. And I know, being register evaluation under the chairmanship of sir, the most easiest reason the student gives, they quote the example of Arjun Reddy. In medical field to have all those things. So let us not get into those things. There are more better ways to deal with stress rather than getting into these addictive substances. And yes, of course, it is our privilege and thing to get involved in social activities and be responsible to the community at large. And the main focus will be through the students, for the students, and by the students. Thank you very much.
Pradeep sir, would you like to add something to that on the same line on collaborations and how that helps the community?
Thank you. And taking a lead from all the dignitaries who spoke and my fellow panelists, see, the health is a spectrum. It starts from positive health to disease and death. With smoking, the spectrum is no smoking, smoking, alcoholism, drugs, non-communicable diseases including cancer, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್. So the best way, taking a lead, only 6% we are able to achieve cessation is what the actual data says. So from what Dr. Riaz told, it is best to prevent it and promote health. So it is always best to move towards the positive health side of the spectrum than the disease side of the spectrum. So what we did through the Government of Karnataka Department of Sports in collaboration with NIMANS, we started a health promotion program. We call it Youth Mental Health Promotion because it mainly focuses on mental health, and it is called Yuva Spandana. So we started it about 6 to 8 years back. And what we do is any youth with any issue who are not deceased can access services at Yuva Spandana Kendras, which are situated in district stadiums in every district in Karnataka. Youth themselves drive this program and they handle these aspects. So there are only 6 issues which youth can get. One is health and lifestyle. Dappa agodu hege, sanna agodu hege. Same thing like when to stop smoking, how to stop smoking. And in terms of smoking, there are variety of things which we get. One thing is how to say no to peers. So one peer will be smoking and he will say to his close friend, "Nin gandsagidre sedo anta." So immediately that male ego starts, and then the limbic system works, and then they start smoking. They are adventurous, risk-taking, curious. At the same time, adds to the male ego. ಈಗ ಫಿಮೇಲ್ ಈಗೋನು ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ, ಅವರೇ ಸೇರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾವು ಯಾಕೆ ಸೇದಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ದೇರ್. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ ಡೂ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ದೀಸ್ ಡೇಸ್. Youth are so sensitive that they get into depression, anxiety, they get stressed. They might even have suicidal ideation if the parents ask, "Are you smoking?" ಒಂದೇ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಅಂಡ್ ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ಹೌ ಟು ಆಸ್ಕ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಬಂದು US ಸ್ಪಂದನಲ್ಲಿ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಅಸ್, "ಸರ್, ನಾನು ಹಂಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದೆ, ನನ್ನ ಮಗ ಸ್ಮೋಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ ನನಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ದ. ಏನ್ ಕೇಳ್ದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ನೀನ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸಿದ್ಯಾ, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೇ ಡೌಟ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ನಿನ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ." ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಇಫ್ he says no, what to do. If he says yes, they don't know what to do. So such issues are handled at US Spandana. Although it looks very trivial, US Spandana handles such issues so that they don't get into the other spectrums towards the disease end. So similarly with US Spandana, we are kind of having a psychological safety net through various schools, colleges, and institutions, wherein we are training all the faculty there. And that's the collaboration which we are in talks with the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences through the departments of psychiatry and community medicine also. And through these minority institutions, residential schools in the government across Karnataka, what we are doing is we are trying to bring in one mentoring single through which the faculty or wardens themselves can handle youth issues, which includes also substance use and other things. So these are things which will actually make the demand side of it reduce, and the supply side automatically kind of gets discouraged to actually produce more tobacco. And there are interventions at the community level to replace tobacco growing through other commercial ways of this thing. Hunsur, which is a hub of tobacco growing in the state of Karnataka, now in the past 10 years have changed, reduced about 40% of their growing tobacco, and they've changed into silk and many other things. So which is actually as economical and as better commercially in terms of getting the money compared to tobacco also, and it is much easier to grow. So those are all the interventions, not only with the Department of Health, Home Affairs, or other things. It is also through Department of Agriculture, Horticulture they are doing. If you go to Betadpura, which is the last village in Mysore bordering Hassan, it was 100% tobacco growing. Now it is about 60-62% of tobacco growing. The remaining 38% they grow something else, mostly silk and ಇದು ರೇಷ್ಮೆ ಸೊಪ್ಪು ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಹಿಪ್ಪನೇರಳೆ. That is what they are growing. So that's the change which is happening. And it's not just us, it is the youth who are sitting here or who will be the change agents with organizations like Young Indians, RO, and of course with universities, the Home Affairs. And ultimately, no police commissioner should listen tomorrow that, "Sir, it is very easy to get smoking, vaping, everything in Bangalore." So he should listen to things like, where is tobacco available in the state of Karnataka? That would be the place where our vision should be. Thank you.
Sir, few students had some questions to ask you directly, so I'll leave it open to the floor. Anybody?
Good morning, sir. My name is Gopi, and I am student of Acharya Bengaluru B School. And before firstly like to thank you of your presence here and today for efforts of Bengaluru Police in supporting this important cause. And also like to mention special thanks for Yuva YI Young Indians for organizing this special event. By saying this, I am going to ask, sir, as we gather here today to promote awareness on National Tobacco Day and to support Say No to Tobacco. With your permission, may I ask you a few questions, sir? Sir, and my first question was, sir, is there is a dedicated task force or team within police department for monitoring and penalizing tobacco-related violation? If there is, please enlighten us about the department and how it functions, sir.
No, for separate, oh, oh, there is no separate task force as such, and it is not required also. The Kotpa Act empowers all police officers of and above the rank of sub-inspector to enforce it. Now, as Dr. Vishal Rao was mentioning, we have sent a proposal to the government that it should be delegated further to the constable level, that the police constables also should be empowered to book cases on violators of Code Act, that is public smoking. Wherever they come across, they can book cases for public smoking. What is the fine?
Sir,
What is the fine for public smoking?
it's 1,000 rupees, here, sir.
Earlier it was 200. Now it is 1,000 rupees. So be careful about that. So our constables also, we have requested that they should be empowered. The proposal is pending with the government. Once it is done, it can be. They also can enforce it, so that everywhere, whoever all the police officers on the ground can enforce code.
Thank you, sir. Sir, with your permission, I have two more questions, if you don't mind. Sir, is the police department leveraging any digital tools or surveillance to track and penalize illegal tobacco sales? And can citizens use any helplines or apps that can to report violation regarding tobacco sales or smoking in public that especially surrounding of educational institution premises?
We don't have any separate app for this one, but sale of tobacco products, as you are aware of it, in and around the educational institutions, they are not supposed to do it. Plus, now recently the BBMP also has come up with a notification. Earlier, all these petty shop owners who used to sell cigarettes, they used to take trade license from BBMP. Now, in addition to trade license, they need to take a separate license for sale of tobacco products, and they are supposed to do a lot of activities for that, put cautionary boards and so many other things. I think Dr. Vishal Rao should be knowing. Then second thing is they are not supposed to sell loose cigarettes also. So a lot of restrictions have been imposed on the sale of tobacco products. There is no helpline number as such. No, there is no this thing provision for public to enforce this law. It is only the police officers who can enforce.
Sir, thank you, sir. With my final and last question, sir, what are the future plans of Bengaluru City Police in supporting a tobacco-free environment in the city?
It's an ongoing program. There is no futuristic here. It's an ongoing program. Basically, as all of us here have the same vision or the same purpose, that is to make Bangalore City or even Karnataka a tobacco-free zone, so that health and safety of all the citizens is taken care of. So, in this regard, we need support, collaboration, and active involvement of the young community, especially the youth. So that is the reason why we are holding this seminar here, and we are also going to all the schools and colleges in Bangalore City. Every last working day of the month, we go to the schools and colleges, talk to the students, to the faculty, talk to the parents, especially with regard to addictions, mainly the drug addiction and also even smoking and other things. So these activities of Bangalore City Police will continue. Besides that, the enforcement activity anyway will be going on.
Thank you very much, sir.
Any other questions?
Namaskara, sir. I am Dhanush, doing my BCA in United International Business School. Hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask only one question, like, what challenges does the police face in enforcing tobacco laws, especially in high-density urban areas like Bengaluru?
There is no challenge as such. It is more of uh, people not knowing the law. That is the biggest shortcoming as far as Kotpa is concerned. A lot of things which are there that public place smoking is not to be involved in. Even a senior executive of a IT company, if he or she doesn't know, what can we expect of the others? And similarly, there is some misconception with regard to the designated smoking area. I already told about it. There is a lot of miscommunication about what is public place. As per Kotpa, any place which is open to public, which is public accessible to public, is a public place. Therefore, everything gets covered in that one. So these kind of misconceptions are there, which we need to clear.
So, last question.
Yeah.
Last question, sir. So, as he asked, like my fellow mate asked, like any apps is being recommended so that we'll get to know or what. So I have a doubt, like any surveillance or AI tools is being used to get to know that the consumption of cigarettes or something is being taken place there. So any tools is being used so that we'll get to know the place is being full of smoky, those kind of things. Anything like that?
No, that is not required, I think. Anyway, if you are interested in digital, this thing, I think Kikash is one of the digital platform wherein you get a lot of information about this program. Dr. Vishal Rao wants to add.
I just want to add, currently there is state anti-tobacco cell. They have an app and they have a updated thing with BBMP also, where you can actually locate this thing and they will share it with the police. So there is enough of information. But as y'all have already, y'all are all tech savvy. Please write an email. Simply just write an email. Narcotics department has now also created a QR code, so you can just using that QR code, which will be shared shortly. You can use it and notify, and quickly tell us the location of the place. The last point, artificial intelligence. I want to tell you, everybody is today talking about AI everywhere. Remember, tobacco is about natural stupidity, not about artificial intelligence. So we can leave apart AI for some time. This we can handle with
As technology is proved
yeah,
sound,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
We have one more question.
Yeah, we can take one more.
Good morning, sir. I am Rojayam. I'm a student of Oceanic College. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Now I'll begin question. How can youth be protected by tobacco use, sir?
By not.
Thank you, sir.
We can, sure, ma'am.
In any which case, I wanted to add, there are so many young people out here and so many young organizations coming together. I would suggest that it would be a good idea for each one of you to come into the hospitals to volunteer service. So not only you get exposure to so many things that happen in a healthcare system, but also you stand witness to what happens when people get exposed to tobacco and so on. And I think Dr. Vishal Rao will endorse to what I'm saying. Come into a cancer hospital. You're not only helping patients, you're also actually witnessing, because seeing is believing for you. So that is one way to insulate one self from the abuse of any kind of drugs, alcohol, or even tobacco. So how to protect one from tobacco? Come into a hospital, do some voluntary service, and so on. Alongside, I would also like to add, if there are rehabilitation and de-addiction services that all of you are engaging in or participating in, make sure that people who have been wanting to quit can also come into hospitals to do some voluntary service. This engagement also will start to kind of help them reform some of their lifestyles, alongside also they're kind of contributing to a social cause.
Thank you, ma'am.
I just would like to add this to her question. See, as ma'am rightly said, we can ask the community people and youngsters to come and see in the hospital. But having said that, I just made a statement about 20 to 30% of the healthcare workers themselves are into addiction. They see the patients every day, they handle patients, cancer surgeons, cardiac surgeons, and all the healthcare workers. They are into tobacco consumption. But see, only thing that we can protect ourselves, the thing is that we should have awareness. We should understand the social responsibility and all this urge and desire. We have to overcome that. So the teaching at the basic level before 15 years or so, that's the time when you actually get into addiction, 15th year or onwards. So we need to educate everybody at the school level itself the harmful effects and how you should lead lifestyle. We are all looking at, see, if you actually go by the survey and the latest this thing, available data available, our health lifespan has increased from 69 years to 72, I think 71, 72 years. And for healthcare workers, it's from 59 to 61 or 62. But we are not talking about, we are only talking about lifespan, we are not talking about health span. So how healthy we are living. So we need to create healthy India, healthy Karnataka. So the teaching and the exposure should start at the level of school itself to bringing awareness. Otherwise, it's very difficult. How you choose your friends, how you choose your lifestyle, and what all the good habits that you can inculcate. And we should make everybody volunteer. See, once you a tobacco user, you make him a marshal, anti-tobacco day. You make him pledge and get him involved in the responsibility. I think that's the best way. They'll try to keep away and educate other people about it.
Yes, all of you
Thank
can
you.
take pledge. We have kept the QR code here, so you can scan it and take a pledge and join the community of your non.
Thank you, sir. So I think there's one last question we're going to take, and then we'll close this. And
So this is Ranganath from Young Indians. We are a very big fan of your Insta page. So today we are in the age of social media, and especially the few moments later. So it's like a huge deterrent to many criminals running out there. So there was this campaign about real heroes, because like we see, there's so much influence of these actors that plays a role in all this, and we have handsome policemen. So are we having any social media initiatives, or is our Bangalore police working with so-called social media influencers to tackle this issue?
Consciously, we are not working with the influencers as such, but we have our own social media team. As you rightly said, we are trying to reach the people through various means. Few moments later is one such thing. Plus, there are many other things we keep circulate. Today also, they are releasing about 3-4 videos about vaping and other things. Basically, idea is to reach out to the people. Influencers, we are not engaging, because our own team is there, which we are making this up. But if you want to join our this thing initiatives, you are most welcome to do. Everybody is an influencer.
Thank you, Pujita. I know in the interest of time, we'll need to wrap up the session quickly. So we'll just have a quick memento presentation session. So, Dhanansa, I would request you to just hand over the memento. So first, Dr. Vishal Rao. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Vishal Rao. Dr. BC Bhagawan. Dr. Riyaz Basha. Banan. Mr. Vinay Ji. Mr. Aditya Arnath. Mr. Amit Karnik. Ms. Pujda Prasad. Thank you, CP sir. Now, I would request all the college students to please come onto the stage. So we'll have a small photo session with all the posters. Yeah. Post the photo ops. I would request Ms. Priya Modi to have the closing remarks for the event today. Thank you, students. I would now request Ms. Priya Modi to have the closing remarks for the session today.
Most of you all have left, so I would like to thank the police department and everybody who has joined today. Thank you so much.